Good evening, my fellow fighters. As all of you know, I'm one of you. I'm an avid enjoyer of fighting. It's been a huge part of my life for my entire life. It's in my veins, it's in my blood, it's embedded deep in my DNA. My body isn't powered by a heart. It's powered by resources and speed-ups which I run out of every KVK on the first day of pass opening. And then I die. Anyway, I feel like I'm the only one qualified to give you the state of KVK and matchmaking address for 2024, now that I've seen a lot of groaning and moaning, a lot of whining and complaining, and a bunch of hoo-hee and hoo-ha and hee-haw about the domain system and why it's super bad, and trust me, I agree with them all. So I'm sure most of you have seen the 1960, 93 and the 2605 KVK, plus the G4s obviously. Hey, can't forget the G4s. And my friends, this is everything that's wrong with the domain system. So first of all, why do we have these small camps, these small kingdoms in the same KVK with Imperiums? Especially with Super Imperiums. And just bear with me for a second, I'm gonna be an advocate for these small kingdoms. Alright, so what if these small kingdoms, these low A, B and C seed kingdoms, they register for KVK hoping for a match their own size, hoping for a star, for Autarch? Well, a spoiler for you, the domain system completely demolishes those dreams. Especially when you get put in the same map with kingdoms like 1960 and 93. Then it's best to say goodbye to everything you hope for and just say goodbye to a fair fighting, because you're never gonna get it. Especially you never know if the other kingdoms in your camp are gonna show up to fight with you. So that is a big problem, that is a huge problem. And let's say even the 4 kingdoms in one camp, all of them, all the players are gonna show up to fight. You guys cannot stand a chance against these super big Imperiums, right? It's just impossible for you. And eventually you will get locked in Zone 4 in the starter zone if you're not allied with one of these Imperiums. And also just imagine the Diplo hell. It's even a bigger and a hotter mess than 𝒟𝒹𝓃 KVK. Like, just to communicate and to talk to 12 kingdoms at the same time, it's a head scratcher. It's an abomination for those in charge of diplomacy. So you guys get the idea that 12 small kingdoms in 3 camps plus 3 Imperiums in 3 other camps. In total you have 6 camps in this KVK. This is Warriors Unbound, and yeah, this is the best example of a hot mess, and we all saw how the diplomacy went. So I think the domain system at its current state is only favorable towards the 1 or 2 alliance kingdoms, which are also Imperiums, and the best example are 1188 and 1960. And on the other hand, we have the big Imperiums, the Super Imperiums going into extinction, like dinosaurs, and the best example of that is, well, 1846. Believe it or not, they are now a 1 alliance kingdom, and that is how it is. And then we have my kingdom, 1365, who went from 4 alliances down to 2, and I think it's the same with 2489, they are now a 2 alliance kingdom. And the only Super Imperium remaining is indeed 1093, with I think 3 or 4 main alliances, but I think after this KVK, they're gonna shrink down to 2 alliances, just like the rest of us. And well, that is the reality of the domain system and the Super Imperiums dying. It was good while it lasted, and nothing good lasts forever. If it does, then it's not good. Don't get me wrong, I'm a very optimistic person. Maybe Lilith had good intentions, maybe they wanted to reduce the lag by introducing the domain system and limiting the amount of players, the amount of cities that can join a KVK from each kingdom. But so far I haven't seen nothing, because the lag is definitely still there, and the only thing that's changed is the extinction of Super Imperiums. Maybe that's the direction the game is going to. Maybe in the future we only want to have 1 or 2 main alliance kingdoms, and that is totally fine, but in order to have that, first we need to fix the matchmaking process, because we can't really have all these small kingdoms, 12 kingdoms in 3 camps. That's just gonna be super unfair towards them, as it is right now. And it's also not fun for the rest of the participants, for example, the big Imperiums, because in reality they can't get a decent fight out of these guys, and they just have to wait until a certain pass is opened, until they can fight with another big Imperium, so they can match the same power level. So my point is, you can't really make it fair by adding more kingdoms in each camp. It's just gonna make it more messy and more complicated. Not to mention that Domain 2 and Domain 3 is completely dead, since it's just mostly farms, so that is another KVK ruined for those looking for a decent fight. And I think now you get my point. Also, a few weeks ago I made a poll about the domain system, because I wanted to know how many of you guys like it, how many don't like it, and what you guys think on it overall. And this poll got 420 votes. Hey, nice number. And majority of you, about 66%, voted for this is a bad system. So let's go and read the comments to see what y'all have to say. And since it's a nice poll, then I'm gonna give myself a like on that one. So let's bring up the comments and see what y'all have to say. So the first person said, we're literally in a camp with domain 2, which consisted of farms in 4 camp, 8 kingdom KVK. And that is exactly what I said before. It is a huge issue, and basically, it's a dead KVK. Next, I Am Blind said, to fix this problem of farms in a domain, I feel like they should just have 1 domain per kingdom. It's not like most kingdoms have over 900 fighters. Well, in that case, then what is the point of domain system? It's like it never existed. But since I'm the biggest hater of domain system, well, the current domain system, so I appreciate your comment. Moving to next, this person said, yeah, for one, it's putting a bunch of small low acid kingdoms with imperiums in a KVK. And if you're stuck in a KVK with a lot of 1960 and 93 farms, then that's also an issue. Exactly what I said. Thank you for this comment. Moving to next, this person said they should reduce to just 1 domain per kingdom with an X amount of players. Having multiple domains is bound to be a disaster for lower seed KVKs. Brother, hey man, you are preaching right now. This person said, going into KVK with 1960, 93 and 2605, main domain, hopefully this domain thing makes it less laggy. Hey, if it's less laggy, then I'm all for it, but at the moment, it doesn't seem like it. Then Left the Spartan said, I don't think it's solving any problem. Brother, I agree with you, I think it's causing more problems than before. Next, Aderizo is saying one of the biggest problems is that 900 players in 1 domain is too much. They should have just reduced it to 300 so that kingdoms choose which domain they are going for and whether they are bringing farms or not. 900 is a lot, and kingdoms like 1960 join with full forces and all of their big farms, which doesn't fix the farm problem. I somewhat agree with this, but then again, 300 is too low, and some kingdoms like my kingdom, we have more than 300 players, and that is not fair if we leave them behind or if we put them with farm accounts in domain 2 or domain 3. Then we have Philip saying it's a good update, to be honest. Well, my boy Philip is entitled to his own opinion. And then we have farms are the problem, maybe. Then Abdullah is saying, what is this now? Bro is clueless. Love that. And at last we have what and meh. Very insightful. Thank you for your feedback. So guys, that is pretty much it about my poll on the domain system. Majority of you do not like this system and you want it gone, or at least optimized for players like me and many others who really care about this game, and we want to see it succeed, not downseed. Is that even an English word? Downseed? Maybe it is, because I just said it. By the way guys, I make these polls quite often. For example, here yesterday I made a poll about the next graphic update for Rise of Kingdoms, and surprisingly majority of you said we want to see a graphic update because it's outdated. That is very surprising because for me personally, I like the current graphics. I think they are unique in their own cartoonish way, but apparently majority of you do not think the same way and you want to see something new. Well, that is fine. I'm all for it as long as the new graphics do not bring any lag issues. Instead, they reduce the lag and they make it more playable, and as long as they don't cause any battery health issues. For example, we know that not everyone is fighting with PC, with computers, and we have a lot of players is still fighting with mobiles, with iPads and with tablets. So I hope it doesn't cause any of that, and instead it makes the game more smoother to play and more beautiful for those looking for the beauty, excuse me.
Here's me in a fort. Ooh.